Hi, and welcome back to Timewalk. Tonight's deep dive takes us to a lake that turns animals to stone. So caustic it preserves its victims, and so strange that flamingos call it home. Let's go in.
There is a lake in East Africa that turns animals to stone, not figuratively, not in a myth, literally. Birds fly in, touch the water, and become statues. This is Lake Natron in Tanzania. It is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, and today I am walking to its shore. The lake is named after natron, an ancient Egyptian chemical used for mummification. The name is not a coincidence. This lake does to animals what the Egyptians did to their pharaohs. Natron is a mix of salt and baking soda, so strong it can dry a body out completely, inside and out, until nothing is left but a husk. Here is what the lake actually is. It sits in a volcanic rift valley, fed by hot springs that bubble up through volcanic rock, carrying minerals from deep inside the earth. The water leaves, the minerals stay. Year after year, the minerals have built up until the lake is one of the most alkaline bodies of water on the planet. The water can reach a pH of 10.5. For scale, your blood sits at 7.4. Bleach sits at about 12. This lake is closer to bleach than to blood, and the temperature at the surface can reach 60 degrees Celsius. That is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to hurt and alkaline enough to burn. The water is so caustic that if an animal falls in and cannot get out, the lake does the rest. The minerals coat the body. The salt preserves it. The bird becomes a sculpture. People have found bats, birds, even flamingos this way. The lake is a natural museum and every exhibit is real. The red color is not the salt, it is alive. A microscopic algae called cyanobacteria lives in the water, and it produces the exact pigment that makes the lake look like blood. The algae thrives in the alkaline water because nothing else can live there to eat it. The lake is red for the same reason it is deadly. It belongs to the algae. And the flamingos eat that algae. The pigment passes into their feathers and turns them pink. The reddest lake on Earth feeds the pinkest birds on Earth. Chemistry is a circle. Take the algae away and the lake would still be deadly, but it would be gray. The beauty and the danger come from the same tiny organism. The lake would not exist without the volcano. Ol Doinyo Lengai, the Maasai name for the mountain of God, rises beside the lake, and it is the strangest volcano on Earth. Most volcanoes erupt with red-hot lava. This one erupts with black lava, colder than any other lava on Earth, flowing like motor oil. When the black lava hits the air, it reacts with moisture and turns white, like ash. That white material washes down into the lake, and it is exactly what the lake needs to keep its recipe. The volcano feeds the lake kills, and together they have built one of the strangest ecosystems on the planet. But here is the twist that makes this place famous. The same lake that turns birds to stone is the only place in Africa where millions of flamingos come to breed. Flamingos are built for this water. Their legs are armored with tough scales, their skin can take the alkalinity, and their food, the tiny algae that turns them pink, grows only in lakes like this one. 3/4 of the world's lesser flamingos are born on this lake. The chicks hatch on islands of salt, safe from predators, because nothing else can reach them. The lake that kills almost everything else is a nursery for the birds that learn to live with it. Evolution is very good at finding the cracks in a poison. The lake was almost impossible to reach until recently. The nearest road ends at a Maasai village, and beyond it you cross 40 kilometers of nothing past the volcano to reach the water. There are no towns on the lake, no ports, no boats. The only people who come here are herders, scientists, and the occasional very curious tourist like me. The first scientists to study the lake had to camp on the shore, surrounded by the statues the water had made. They wrote about the preserved birds with a kind of awe, and the papers went around the world. Photographs of the mummified animals spread online, and suddenly everyone knew the name of the lake that turns things to stone. The lake had been there all along. The internet just found it. I want to show you what the water actually does up close. When I dip this stick in and let it dry, the minerals crystallize and coat it in salt like a glass shell. This is what happens to anything that stays in this water: feathers, skin, bone. The lake is not destroying things, it is preserving them in salt. And it is not just the lake itself. The air around it carries the minerals. The salt spray from the water coats everything nearby, and the shore is littered with things the spray has claimed. Scientists have found animals that died near the lake and were mummified by the spray without ever touching the water. The lake's reach is longer than its shore. The lake has a reputation among the people who live nearby. The Maasai call it the place where the spirits of the dead live because of the statues the shore collects. They say the lake takes what it wants and keeps it. The preserved bodies on the shore are proof, and proof is hard to argue with. There is also a darker legend from the days when the lake was a border marker. Rival clans would force captives to walk into the water, knowing the lake would finish what they started. It is impossible to know how much of the story is true, but the lake's chemistry does not care about legend. It only cares about the recipe. The lake does not distinguish between creatures. A flamingo that falls in and cannot get out becomes a statue like any other. The nursery and the morgue are the same water. It is a hard truth, and the lake has no mercy in it, but mercy is a human idea. The lake does not think, it simply is. And that, in a way, is what makes the lake so powerful to look at. It does not pretend. It shows you exactly what it is, in every statue on the shore, in every chick on the salt. Few places on earth are as honest as Lake Natron. It tells you the price of life here, and it shows you the life that pays it. For all of its danger, the lake is beautiful. The red water comes from the same algae that feeds the flamingos, and at sunset, the whole valley turns the color of wine. Scientists call the color cyanobacteria. Artists would call it the most beautiful accident of chemistry on Earth. The lake glows, literally. When the algae bloom and the minerals are right, the water picks up the light in a way that makes it look lit from within, like the ground itself is burning softly. It is easy to see why the Maasai gave the volcano the name they did. In this valley, the earth does not look like Earth. It looks like another planet. The lake has other residents besides flamingos. Tiny fish called tilapia have adapted to the extreme water, and they live in the hot springs where the lake is less caustic. Nothing else eats the tilapia because nothing else can survive where the tilapia live. The fish have found a corner of the poison that is just safe enough, and they hold it. And there are the insects. The salt flies breed in the water, and they are so plentiful that they can be seen from space, a dark band on the red surface, millions and millions of them. The flamingos eat the flies, the fish eat the algae eat the minerals. Every level of this strange food chain is built on water that would kill most of the planet. But the beauty hides a warning. The lake is not only dangerous to animals. The water level has been changing, and the minerals are spreading beyond the old shore. Rising water has flooded the flamingos' nesting islands. The flamingos have had to build new nests, higher and further from the water, and some years the chicks do not survive. The same minerals that built this place are now changing it. The lake is a living experiment, and the experiment is still running in front of us right now. And that is what makes this place worth understanding. It is not a static museum. It is a chemistry set the size of a country, and nobody has read the full instructions. Before I leave, I want to show you one small thing, a single feather lying on the salt. It is not from a mummified bird. It is from a flamingo, and it is bright pink. This feather fell from a living bird, a bird that is thriving in water that would kill almost anything else. A bird that found a way to live in the middle of a poison. And that, I think, is the real story of Lake Natron, not the statues, not the danger, the life that found a way, the flamingos that turned a poison into a nursery. The lake turns some things to stone, and it raises others to life. Both are true, and the truth is stranger than either one. The lake has been here for thousands of years, and it will be here long after we are gone. but the same minerals that built it are also changing it faster than the wildlife can adapt. The flamingos have moved their nests twice in my lifetime. The water keeps rising, and the statues on the shore keep growing, one dead bird at a time. Scientists are watching, and they are worried. The lake is a bellwether for the whole Rift Valley, and what happens here may happen to other lakes, other flamingo colonies, other parts of the world. But the lake does not care about our worry. It only follows its chemistry, and the chemistry is simple. Minerals in, minerals stay, and the water does what water does. I came to see the lake that turns animals to stone. I saw that. But I also saw the lake that raises millions of flamingos, and I think the second is the better story. Nature does not do simple. It does balance. It does poison and nursery, statue and chick, in the same red water, in the same breath. I am Aubrey, and this was Lake Natron. If you want to come with me on the next walk, subscribe, and I will see you at the next impossible place. The people are gone from this valley, the lake remains, and the flamingos, as always, are dancing on the poison. The lake has been here for thousands of years, and it will be here long after we are gone, but the same minerals that built it are also changing it, faster than the wildlife can adapt. The flamingos have moved their nests twice in my lifetime. The water keeps rising, and the statues on the shore keep growing, one dead bird at a time. Scientists are watching, and they are worried. The lake is a bellwether for the whole Rift Valley, and what happens here may happen to other lakes, other flamingo colonies, other parts of the world. But the lake does not care about our worry. It only follows its chemistry, and the chemistry is simple. Minerals in, minerals stay, and the water does what water does. I came to see the lake that turns animals to stone. I saw that, but I also saw the lake that raises millions of flamingos, and I think the second is the better story. Nature does not do simple. It does balance. It does poison and nursery, statue and chick, in the same red water, in the same breath. I am Aubrey, and this was Lake Natron. If you want to come with me on the next walk, subscribe, and I will see you at the next impossible place. The people are gone from this valley, the lake remains, and the flamingos, as always, are dancing on the poison.
If this deep dive surprised you, subscribe and ring the bell every walk, every week. Science's strangest places are waiting, and I'll see you at the next one.